Hitting go live right now then? Hitting it now. There we go. So we are going live. Woohoo.
Well, we are live, in fact.
Well,
if it
yeah,
worked.
I guess.
If it worked.
On time. Yeah. Should we get a raise now?
Hey, if you guys want to do that, that's great. That's not up to us,
26, 26 people here and 26 likes. That's a good thing. 100% like ratio, even though see now it's 27 likes. See, I knew there were people in here earlier hitting like.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Now we're 17 viewers and 27. What the hell? People are like, oh, they're here. Bye.
Yep. I waited this long. Bye. No,
well,
but this is gonna be a good one, Stuart. I'm really excited for this one.
It will be. It'll be an interesting one because, as you know, I was having some issues with this, and I think I went with more like smaller, mistakey type deals than you know, galaxy-shattering continuity issues.
And this is why 20 is such a nice, as a double bill, because it means you can do the full gambit. I'm sure there'll be a bit of everything. That's what's kind of fun for this. It's our first two-part top 10 live.
Yeah, which was brutal and killed me today trying to figure shit out.
I spent like 3 hours doing this, just doing the prep. Just finding the pictures and enhancing them. It took a long time. I've done so little today of my actual work. I mean, it's fine, it's work. This is work, but it's just so much of the day was taken up. I was surprised.
All right, guys, hit that like button if you haven't, please. And yeah, so today is part 1. Tomorrow will be part 2 of the top 20 mistakes and visual continuity error things in Star Trek. There are a lot of them. When we just start digging deep, I immediately thought of like 14, and then I'm like stalled out. So I needed some help with the last few. So I did change a few things on my list, but I did keep a lot of my original ideas because I like that. That's where my brain goes. So
yeah, I got 18 in my first, just blah. And then as I was talking to you, I kept remembering, oh yeah, in Voyager, oh yeah, in DS9, so I ended up at 28, and I had to kind of like reverse engineer them to a list. And to be fair, I can very much see if this, obviously you guys are going to mention stuff as we go. I can imagine us doing a part 3 with like another assorted 10 at some point. If it's popular, it's obviously up to you guys. I'd like to think it is, because I know when we did our original 5 each equals 10 live, that was one of our more popular ones, so hopefully.
I didn't even go back and look at that to see what I said for the top 5.
No, I sort of remember 2 of yours, and I'm sure you're going to pick them again, but I don't remember which order and where in the 5. I just remember like 2 of your top 10. So we'll see if 2017 you is the same as 2021 you. It probably is.
That's the other thing. This is one of those lists for me that is not necessarily in any kind of order. I tried. I mean, part 1's probably going to be a little bit more like tomorrow. Part 2, I mean, when we see, that was a continuity error right there. I said part 1. When we get there, that might whittle it down more like to the number 1 position. But they're kind of hard to judge these and to rank them, honestly.
Yeah, it's all about gut reaction for me. I just went in the gut. I mean, some of them are genuinely bigger, but a few of them are, and like you said, it's things that cross my mind, because I'm sure there was really, really big ones. Just like, yeah, but there's a few that I just have found, and I can't let go of in my brain. It's like, that's an interesting, dumb one, There's
a lot of them that once I saw them, I see them every goddamn time. It's just like so annoying. But it's like you just got to let it go,
And they may be the tiniest things, but a lot of these things are, I mean, arguably, in the JJ09 where the comm badge goes on and off his chest, it's arguably a very small thing. It isn't even your focus. Arguably, it's literally a small thing. But it's also a simple thing.
But it's also in the first like minute of like a major blockbuster film. That's
Yes. And the sad thing is, it could have been just added back in with CG very easily. Like, someone should have seen it in the... anyway.
And it's not even like a minute passed between. It was literally he's standing there, it's there, he turns around, it's gone. To sit on his chair. Like,
they have continuity people on
set. It couldn't even be explained at all. Anyway.
I think the continuity...
A lot of them you can go, well, maybe.
Yeah. I think the continuity people on the set of 09 were the same people that were the original team to be the canon advisors on Discovery. Oh wait, there were no original ones.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start sharing, and hopefully we have 80 people when I come back, because I'd love to talk about the flubs And the what? And the yeah. See you in a minute.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun discussion. 57 viewers right now with 41 likes. That is awesome, guys. Hit that like button if you haven't already. We want to see that you love us because we love you. So share the love and let us know. So hit that like button, and that's one of the free ways to do it. You can also send a super chat. As you see, there's a few super chats there. You get your name highlighted. You get your comment read out loud on the air, guaranteed. So that's a good thing. We also do check the regular chat as well, and we do read a lot of the comments there as well. So if you can't super chat, don't worry about it. But super chat is a great way to support the channel. You can also hit the join button down beside the subscribe button, and which is like a monthly way to help us out. If you want to do that, by all means, please consider it. It supports the channel on a monthly basis and get you some perks. You get like your name all in colors. You get a little badge beside your name, shows us how long you've been with us. It's, you get emojis and stickers and stuff on the live chats, and it's really fun, especially if you join a lot of lives. It's a great way to support us and join the channel and have some fun. And I think I cut out there for a second, but anyway, I'm back now. So also you can head on over to Patreon/Trekyards. It's another monthly way to help us out, or send a PayPal. There's PayPal information in the description of every video. Just click that link down below. Well, you don't have to do that. Just trekyards@hotmail.com. If you do send a PayPal, just let us know via the regular chat that you've done that, so we can read your comment or question via the email. So just let the moderators know. So if we don't see it, they can let us know that we do have something waiting for us in our inbox. So, okay, I just can't do it, Captain. I already gave the like. Yeah, and I'm sorry that my video cut out there for a second. It happens sometimes, but I am here nonetheless. So, so yeah. Hold on. Anyway, so yeah, by all means, check out the links down below. There's a lot of links to really cool stuff like Eagle Moss and stuff like that, which saves you guys some money, gets you guys some really cool merchandise, and helps out the channel at the same time. It's our way of saying that we love you. Here's things to help you guys out. So if you're able to do the same, we'd appreciate it. But the easiest ways is just hitting that like button. We're at 49 likes right now. We need one more to get to 50, but I think we can easily hit 75. So if you haven't hit that like button, please consider hitting it. If the thumb is not blue, you did not do. So make that thumb blue. You can only hit it once, unfortunately, but it all helps out. So if you can, please consider doing it. And see, we jumped to 52 right there. Perfect. So keep hitting it, guys. Well, hit it once, because you can't hit it more than once, because then it goes away. Which I think a lot of people try doing, because a lot of times the number's doing this when we're asking. Anyway, so yeah, hit the like button, guys, and welcome back, Samuel.
Hello. Did we reach 80 viewers?
Not quite.
Ooh.
Almost.
Right. But do you want to read those super chats, and then we can jump right in?
Yes. Squadra Course, $2. Length of Defiant would be on my list first. Ship sizes in general can be, yeah. I don't think there's anything like that on my list, so we deal with that all the time. So I don't want to deal with it today.
Yes.
And the Ronin, $5. Howdy, guys. Hello, Ronin. Hello. Haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back. Good to see you.
Coming back with a storm though. Boom, 5. Hello. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right back in. So now we haven't done one of these in a little while, because of the other stuff. Do you want to be first, or shall I be first?
You can go first. I'm very chill today, so.
Excellent. All right. So my number 20. It's gonna be a lot of numbers we're not used to saying. My number 20 for biggest weird gaffes in Trek. My number 20 is the inclusion and then instant forgetting almost that the Terran Empire, every human is light sensitive. Even though in every other appearance they've been near bright lights and it's not phased them. And it's a thing that comes into play and is subsequently ignored for the same character in the subsequent 2 seasons. So if you can't call that an error, they invented something to just then ignore it. It's never been a thing. That is absolutely a gaffe that they needed to thing. They needed some reason to a thing, and it's a bad reason, it's a bad thing, and you can't call that canon in the realistic sense. It doesn't work.
it was the dumbest explanation for something that could easily be explained by he had an accident. He has to keep doing this for his eyes, which is kind of what was implied. But yeah, for the Lorca, the light sensitivity thing was just stupid beyond stupid. I did like, you know, that there was a captain that had an issue that, you know, dealt with it. But yeah, an accident would have been made a lot more sense.
And in the same scene, you know, he says stuff that they clock as being mirror. That would have been enough. You know, he's said 5 things that are weird. Well, maybe he's your Lorca. But it's just the fact that then, you know, especially in Michelle Yeoh's final scenes, she's on an ice planet in glaring light. That's a bright light. You'd think that would be slightly, oh, my eyes. And not just that, but if it's an alternate universe where everything's the same, and yet all humans have an aversion to light, society won't grow up the same way. That will change everybody in every way. Everyone in deserts, the people that move to America might be less inclined to live in Vegas because of the bright light every day. You know what I mean? Like, that will change how the world works. The Mirrorverse is no physical difference except their aggression, which we then worked out as a genetic thing, apparently.
I would have bought something like when they crossed over, something happened genetically, so they're more sensitive to light on our side. Yep, that might have made a little more sense, and maybe not everybody's affected. Certain you know, because not everybody's affected or allergic to everything. So that would work for me, but never talked about again, and just silly. So.
Yeah, it would have been. All she had to say was, yes, 1 in every 100 Terran children. Boom. That's it. But not every single one. That's the only difference we have. It was dumb and completely ignored, and it's one of those classic Discovery things where you just you shouldn't include it as canon because it's clearly not canon, even though it's canon. It just clearly isn't canon because they didn't use it ever again. So yeah, there you go. My number 20 is just a dumb thing that doesn't work and it doesn't make sense and it breaks every previous canon in the book.
I think there's going to be a lot of dumb things on these lists that don't. Just little things sometimes.
But this one niggled me because we've had lots of other mirror.
Yeah. No, that's good. And I like that this one, probably our lists are not going to match. So we're not going to have any of the same things, maybe. That's a possibility. So we could do talking about 40 separate things, which would be interesting. So,
which is why it's a fun topic because it's personal choice. It's absolutely anything.
Yeah. I already see something that I should have put on my list. God damn it. I hate it so much. I always do that. It's like, that's why I hate these. Anytime anybody asks me what's my favorite, my top 10 favorite or something, it's like, I need the whole list of everything in front of me, first of all. Second of all, I'm going to inevitably forget something. And it happens every time. That's why I hate answering these questions.
Let me throw one at you. You're going to have to answer, Stuart.
Okay.
Who's your favorite Trekyards co-host?
Doug Drexler. I mean, sorry. No, actual quote. Commander Hawkins. There's only one. What the hell?
What's your number 20, Stuart, in the list of dumb continuity errors, mistakes, things they knew were wrong? Because part of my differentiation for this list is they knew they were wrong when they wrote this. Like, they knew they were breaking canon just for their story to work.
But it's one line. People will forget it. People won't latch onto it. People won't you know,
but that's not how
talk about it.
That's not how canon works, though, and they should. Well, they don't care. But it's just like when you like all these things are probably on my list. If they'd done any research, they wouldn't have made the mistake. It's a mistake. Like, it's a mistake.
Yeah.
All right, your number 20 is the.
My number 20 is Data's cat, Spot. For multiple reasons. Not only does it change cat type from long-haired tabby to short-haired tabby to also changes from male to female as needed to have kittens.
I never picked up until you said, and I love that.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was just a plot convenience. Why did it have to be Data's cat? I don't know. There's other cats on board the ship, probably. So, I don't know why they did that with Data's cat. How did he get his cat? I mean, all of a sudden he just has a cat. It's like, okay. I guess, and that's one of the things I think they included to make him seem more human or something he would do to want to be human-like, because having pets is a very human thing to do. So, James McGill, $2. Say it Romulan style. It's a mistake. That's great. That's good.
That is very, very apt. No, and this is great because just in the same way they had a Bible of tech. Once the cat was introduced, they had its gender, its type, and what cat they hired to play it.
And its name, yeah.
his real name and his fake name, and so to get the gender wrong is just a mistake. They didn't bother watching their own show and researching. Like they didn't, and the fact they got through every stage of development, and they could have redubbed the line if they needed to. It's just they made a mistake and it's poor everything. It's a gambit of mistakes, and like you say, and it would have been fine if he'd said a line, "My cat died, I got a new cat." Like I call
I've
it.
got
Spot.
an alien, like hybrid cat. Like the dog from Lower Decks that turns into a cube sometimes. I don't know. It can be a female if it wants to be.
Wouldn't it have been great if in season 4, I believe they introduced it. This is Spot. Season 5, Geordie, this is Spot A. Season 7, this is Spot B. And in Generations, look, Geordie, I found Spot D. So it dies, and then he gets a new one, and he can't think of what other names.
I found Spot's D, even though it's a female all along. Now it has a D.
No, now it's Spot E. Well, that's Spot V, but
Spotty. That'd be Spotty after that crash because it'd be splattered all over the walls.
Oh,
Spotty. Oh, you come here for the jokes, guys. Space Art by Christopher Dahl is here. Hey, Chris, how's it going? Good to see you. Thank you for joining.
Welcome. But yeah, definitely a genuine mistake. Like they didn't check.
Devil's advocate. There are like 100 cats on the Enterprise, and Data can't distinguish them, so he calls them all Spot.
They could have made it a joke. They could have. That's absolutely a fair thing. But then it wouldn't have had any resonance as being, look, I found Spot. Data, you know every cat that ship is named Spot because of you. What?
Yeah.
Have you noticed that Spot is always different weights every time you see him? What?
Well, he's always messing with the feline supplements.
True.
So.
Yeah.
Super Coops, 5 pounds, biggest continuity error, all of Star Trek Discovery. Yes, this joke was made earlier today. We
By
have
you.
like the top 3 slots. Yes. Yeah.
And but my number 20 is already Discovery. Now I'm extremely fair in this list because that Discovery is quite a big one.
Yeah.
This is quite a big one too. I'm all over the place. That's good.
Yeah, me too. I'm ducking and weaving. I could have focused more on like the stuff Discovery and stuff, but no, that's not fair.
It's what grabs you.
Yeah.
You know, that's what grabs me. But my number 19 is, I've obviously forgotten my list now, so I'm trying to remember. Oh, another mirror universe. This is the DS9, because both mirror universes can F up and should know better. In the DS9 series, they get a mirror universe several times. In one episode, I believe it was Bashir in a Maquis raider, 2 Klingon and Cardassian ships decloak and capture them, or some such. And they've mentioned in dialogue that because they're Klingons, that this alliance has cloaking devices, and then in one of the last seasons, there's an entire plot around Grand Naga Zeb, whatever his name is, Zip, Zada, Zudu,
Zeke, Zach, Zeke, I don't know, something.
Zippy, Grand Naga Zippy. He's kidnapped, and their bargaining chip is a cloaking device, despite already having the tech explicitly on screen, and so they
Sorry, not only a cloaking device, but a cloaked cloaking device. Because that's not how they really work. But okay. Whatever.
Yeah. So just steal one from a ship, bring it over, give it to them, and as you can see, the moment of war's like, yes! The tech we've had for 200 years. What? And it could have been played off as, they've worked out... Yeah, they could have worked, okay, they managed to get through our cloak, we have to get new cloaks, there's a different frequency. But the writers don't bother saying... we've done Mirror before, haven't we? Yeah, what were those scripts? Ooh, cloak, shit. So it's just a mistake. Like, they just did not bother going back and looking at 3 previous episodes of Mirror. It's a very small sample size of research. I'm sure they had in their filing cabinet scripts ready to reread. So it's just a stupid mistake. And so fine, it's one of the better episodes they did because it's a fun one, but dumb. So it's an incorrect mistake, and you've got to kind of say they're dumb.
So are all yours going to be Mirror Universe stuff, Samuel?
No, I just thought it'd be funny to put them back to back.
Yeah.
Well, I hope your next one's also cat related somehow, or dog related. I want yours pet related, Stuart. Porthos.
It's kind of pet related.
You've got the Targ, you've got the Porthos, you've got... Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, the cloaking device thing, I mean, it was played for laughs with the whole invisible cloaking device that they're carrying through the hallway and stuff, but that's not how cloaking devices work. You need to put that power through the deflector grid and anyway, whatever. So yeah, silly, And it definitely could have been explained away as a more advanced cloak or a transphasic cloak or something that would be more of an advantage. But yeah, absolutely. Just it was beyond silly. And that's kind of sad. So.
And do you actually remember at the time, like, making note of this, or was it because it wasn't serial? I mean, it wasn't serialized. It wasn't episodic, and it wasn't something you could watch freely. Did it even cross your mind, or was it didn't click until later?
I just thought it was stupid that they didn't have a cloak in the Mirror universe, a universe that would focus on things specifically like that. Okay. I didn't necessarily remember that they had the cloak before, but I just thought it was kind of dumb that they, didn't have one.
Yeah. How did no one design cloaking devices and not the Klingons?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. This one just bugs me because it's just. I mean, this is even Prime Riders know. They know how to fuck up and not do research.
Yes. But I mean.
Oh, thanks, Eric.
My number 19, though, like I said, kind of pet related, and it's the Trill. From the host to what they were eventually. Small little thing, but also super glaring because it's the first introduction of the Trill, and this big deal is made of the symbiote and things like that. So even though we did look at it recently and the symbiote is the same, they did a very good job with that kind of thing. So, I mean, he's from the north. He's got the ridges. That's why. Just changing the look of a main species or faction in Star Trek is silly, I think. I know it wasn't a big deal in TNG because it's like the Trill, maybe a one-off thing. But then to go back and use that and not maintain the visual continuity is weird. It's a weird decision to make. I understand that the prosthetics might be a little bit longer to apply and the actors and actresses might not want to do it, especially if it's just for a regular cast member. But you got Worf, for God's sake. So that excuse doesn't really
and
fly
Odo
either,
and Quark. I mean,
yeah. So that's just it's one that was kind of fresh in my mind, and again, this one can be explained away. A lot of these things can be fixed in universe in dialogue, should they want to. A lot of them are just inexplicable and just no, there's just no way. But some of them can be fixed, and this one is definitely one of those things.
I do agree in the abstract, but this for me is like the Klingons and like Zephyr and Cochrane. The thing that came before, they made an active choice to do something better, quote unquote. Like, this isn't a mistake, it's an active choice to, we want to develop it in a hero way. Because it was a one-off that didn't matter so much. So it wasn't a mistake, it was an active choice. Same with Discovery, but they tend to break more in big things. This was a one-off, who cares, alien. And we saw watching TNG, there was dozens of them, literally dozens of them. So I know what you mean. Although, yeah, all you had to do was, like, as soon as Jadzia walks off the pad, you could have had another Trill, that makeup, in similar uniform, and they both walk off. You're like, oh, they're both Trill? And she's like, I'll see you soon, thingy, Trill name. And it's like, oh yeah, there's two types. There's no reason to think the Trill just look, have you seen people on Earth? You got Asian people, you got black people, you got, we look quite different. So it would have been easy to have another Trill look like that at some point and say, oh yeah, there's two different types, three different types. But it would have been nice to have spots, but obviously spots are, so you're right, it would have been nice to have a retcon of just having one back in later.
We had Spot for my last one.
Well, gone from spot to spots, yeah. And it's funny because you say, like, makeup time, obviously, a lot with makeup, but her spots took a while. Like, they're intricate, and they made a point making them look similar.
They had a template, and they could use, like, an airbrush to brush it on. So they put it on, and then do a few little touch-ups here and there. So it could be done relatively quickly. Or you could take a little bit more time and do it kind of detailed for close-ups and stuff. But they had two ways of doing it, really. So
yeah, I guess I mean for the hero version. So I know that Westmore did it on stage, and it was like 50 minutes. And it's like,
well, yeah, that's because you got 50 minutes to fill. So why use the right?
But you know what I mean. Like, it can take a lot of time still if you're doing it properly. Yes. But obviously, ridges. And they did do a makeup test with her with that makeup, and then chose not to go for it. So they did try that.
Did they?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it would have made it look a lot more or less attractive, I think.
Exactly.
Because yeah. So
which is fine. But yeah, fair, good one.
Total Anthony, though, for £3.
Thank you.
Kappa, did you get that Star Trek mug? I want. This I think I got from Think Geek. It's got the heat thing, so the ship shows up when it's hot. But that was quite a while ago. But thank you for the. James McGill, $2. The first Trill is a fake.
Yeah.
Squadra Course, $2. Maybe Odin was a mountain man from the north.
It would have been nice to have another vote, like just to walk up. A friend of hers from the academy is like, but you don't look anything alike. No, trolls come in several sizes and little shapes. It's weird, yeah. I know, but we don't talk about it very
much. Fleet Pass Swiftback, $2. Ew, the Trill Ridges vomits. Oh, that's rough. That's so much, but all right. Well, thank you guys for the super chats. Keep it up. 82 likes, 125 people here. We can get another 18 likes, get to 100. That'd be awesome. So
hopefully more people as well, because I want people to show up.
Yes, damn it.
And see if you agree.
But then I do agree.
I mean, with our lists, I meant people agree, because you guys are very important. Your chat is very important to us.
Yes. So Samuel, what's your number 18?
Let's find out. Is don't remember. Oh yes. So you remember Star Trek Nemesis, right? The best Star Trek movie.
I do.
Yeah.
It was a movie, yeah.
It was. Well, there's a moment where they're getting attacked and boarded. Yeah. They're getting boarded, and I believe they explicitly say, or they show like on the diagram, it's right at the bottom of the ship, like bottom couple of decks, if not bottom deck. It's like deck 20. Like they say, we know it's very, very bottom. And then they're in a corridor. They go into a crawlway, which then goes down into a walkway underneath that deck. Then a firefight or a hand-to-hand fight on a railing at a Galaxy Quest. And then he falls down clearly at least sort of 3, 4, 5 decks with a spotlight well placed on his body. And so on the bottom of the ship, the guy falls down at least 4 or 5 floors through the bottom of the ship. And it's like, don't put the fight at the bottom of the ship then. Anywhere else and you've got the potential to have a chasm, it doesn't matter, fine, whatever, it's a turbo shaft. But why have it at the bottom of the ship? Why have that in dialogue? It's just a mistake. Why? It looks dumb. Why is there a cavern? It is so Galaxy Quest. And Galaxy Quest is making fun of you.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's always been issues with the lower decks on the Sovereign class Enterprise. Going back to First Contact.
Every damn movie.
With the Borg taking over decks that don't exist.
Yep.
But whatever. Yeah, I completely forgot about that. God damn.
It's always bugged me.
That's an awful mistake. That is an awful mistake.
Because they
don't even know.
They know it's wrong.
I don't even know how to rectify that. There's no way that we could explain that away.
No, it's fine. You just say they've attacked us on deck 12. Then you've got 15 decks of space. It's like, it's a chasm. Who cares? It's a shaft. Yeah, they have shafts. It's fine. It's not that big. It's just the fact it's on the bottom of the ship is absurd. So stupid.
You're absolutely right.
And it would have been better if it was a really good fight. Then you're like, at least the spectacle's worth something. It's a garbage fight. It's crap. It's total crap.
Tell me how you really feel, Samuel.
It's actually really good.
Oh, okay. Okay, good.
I mean, did you guys notice this? It always bugs me. It's very much that Nemesis style of the director didn't care. He wasn't into the Frakes directed the first two. He cared. He made it all make sense for the most part. They tried. Nemesis, they put so many it'll slide. We'll do something else. Vibes, and it's all throughout. That was the slanting of the scale where became acceptable. You know.
Maybe you're forgetting like season 2, episode 16 of Enterprise, where they got that time.
Oh,
ship,
shut up!
And they're storing it on the bottom deck, so they actually crawled into that ship. And yeah.
Oh yeah, Colin says they beamed onto deck 29. Which also doesn't exist.
There's that too.
Yeah.
Well, mine isn't quite as epic for number 18, I gotta say.
But it is a small scene, like it's a small part of a movie. And in fact, I probably could have also said, it's not on my list, but I'll probably say, like, Michael Dorn, them giving Worf a voiceover effect. It's like, He hasn't sounded like that for the last 30 years. Why? Blah, 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 blah. It's like, that's just right. It's just a mistake. You're just actually doing a mistake.
You say that, and I've never heard that. I gotta go and listen for that specifically.
You should. Well, he doesn't have main dialogue lines either. Like, he's very underused. But yes. See, have you guys noticed this chasm of nowhere with a spotlight perfectly placed to capture the guy's fallen dead
Ryan
body?
K's like, don't think I ever noticed this one. And I honestly don't remember the fight. Yeah, there was a little bit of a fight between them, but
Crap. This is crap. Okay, your number 18 of the worst Trek mistakes ever in the canon of the Star Trek universe.
Don't say that, because like I said, there's no real listing. It didn't really. It was hard to rank these, so they're just things that annoy me. Don't do that. Anyway, number 18 for me is the scratches on Kirk's face in The Enemy Within. He gets scratched on his left-hand side. And then later, when he's on the bridge, you can tell they just mirrored the image for some reason. I don't know why they'd like to do this in editing. Sure, to have people facing off against each other, maybe, and it's just filmed the wrong way. But when you have something like on somebody's face and you mirror it, it's obviously on the wrong side of the face. And you can even see the bridge behind him that's mirrored as well, which is dumb. So it's a small thing, but I've always noticed this, and it really annoys me. And the next one for me, number 17, is also an editing mistake, which should they count? I mean, editors are humans. They make mistakes. They only have a certain amount of footage, whatever.
Well, again, if it was intentional to save the shot, I mean, that's you know. But a lot of these are deliberate. You know, the chasm is not an accident. It's a deliberate mistake. They know it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And how long is that wrong-sided? Like, is it just a quick cut, or is it like an extended moment?
Some dialogue. And they cut back to it once or twice.
Wow.
So yeah, it's not great, and the scratches even don't look good. The scratches change throughout the whole goddamn show, but it is what it is. It's just one of those things that just annoys me. Like I said, my next one is also an editing thing, which we'll get to, and I think it could be easily fixed, and it was just so blatantly obvious. But we'll get there when we get there. So yeah, these little moments will take away a lot of well, not really joy or excitement, but they kind of take me out of the moment of a really good episode. And it's just like, this is the episode with the mistake in it. Yeah, okay.
Obviously, the 60s is a little bit different. They weren't as able to reshoot. They weren't as able... Like, that was... Everything was harder. Whereas, like, the Discovery, Picard, and JJ stuff, like, the movie budget, etc.
Yeah.
So certainly... But, yeah.
And Dan 23 is right. There's a lot of mirrored images in Trek, especially TOS. Even like the delta on the wrong side on the view screen once, and
that must be.
And Matthew DeFreitas is right. This is the I want to live that scene. So yeah.
Wow. Cool. I like it.
Yeah.
Love it. I went for a big chasm. You went for a cut. I like it.
Scratches. I know.
My number 7.
They're all tied together. Cat scratches.
Ooh. My number 7. Now this one you will never have noticed. I only noticed it recently, like in the last year. So, this is an episode of Voyager called Raven, where 7 of 9 is actively going to, she's being summoned by an old transceiver signal to go see her old ship where she was probably not born, but where she was lost in the Delta Quadrant. And on Voyager, she steals a shuttle. This is the one where she like has a Borg force field again, and then Tuvok has to try and take her out. But she has the shield, and then they beam down and they come to face with the Raven. Right? Pretty good episode, pretty good 7 episode, brilliant. The issue is, and this is something they know, and when you have a mistake that's literally shot, next shot. Now there's a very specific reason why, and it's understandable, but it's still a complete mistake that they know better. So, when she leaves the ship, they take a shuttle, and they take this shuttle. It's a Type 6B. This is the custom Voyager version of the Type 6, which is a new miniature they made, where they updated it to look more like Voyager. They included Voyager nacelles. They included different glow bits. It looks a bit more advanced. It's actually quite a nice shuttle, and it's rarely ever used because they went to CG quite quickly. And you can get on Inglemoss, so please do. And so that's the shuttle they see 7 in first, second, and third as it flies, just as a static shot, right? Unfortunately, every time they cut to any sort of action shot, it cuts to this shuttle. This shuttle is a Type 6 TNG version. They are not the same design shuttle. Because this one was their only CG model. And so everything that does something interesting is the CG version. Unfortunately, there's several shots where it cuts from one to the other. Back to the other, back to the other. And it's a different design. They are not visibly the same design. And it's like, the editing bay, all they had to do was make 3 new shots of flying left to right, or even 1, and just made it longer. You could have had, but they also want to save money's stock shot. But by doing that, they literally have firefight, different shuttles. It's just like, but these shuttles are radically different in design for a ship blower. And it's just like, oh, guys. Damn. Same episode. And it's the only time that happens. Because they never use that shuttle, either of them. Like, they rarely use them, but it's just such a dumb thing. I assume you've never noticed it, but what do you think?
Never noticed it, and I think that's heinous, actually. Because, yeah, ship guys notice this kind of thing. I don't know why I didn't. I mean, obviously I don't know Voyager as much as some of the other series. And Raven, just saw the last 5 minutes of it the other day on TV. Mm-hmm. I tend to, but I didn't remember that even. So it's one of those episodes that I guess just doesn't stand out. But
well, even though it should, because it's her finding her ship where she was disconnected. And it's just so weird because there's actually a lot of CG in it, and there's a pretty good space thing that I rewatched some clips, and it's actually really it holds up very well with this CG shuttle. But then they cut back to the other one, just to save a few $100 of a new shot. I get that's real money and it's quite an expensive episode, but they're just not the same design.
I hear you. That's bad.
And literally shot to the next.
Joe is saying they're not radically different designs, as in radically, but they are. They have the same hull essentially, but just different nacelles and stuff, and that's very noticeable. So,
and actually,
we should probably. I was gonna say we should probably read the super chats because one goes back to what you were saying for your last point.
Oh,
Area 51, $5. Maybe there's a weird gravity thing, and the Riemann fell up. Dun dun dun.
Maybe.
Fleet Pass Swift back $2. This still isn't as bad as Disco Shuttles in Picard. Oh, okay.
Those are problems.
Yeah. All right. So. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just annoying because I mean they are the same shuttle, just different glowy bits and different nacelles and different framing and it's all actually different miniatures. They just made a new one. And also it has aft phasers. Which I never remember. A Type 6 having aft phasers. I have a model of that. We made it. There's literally no room at the back except for the door. There ain't no aft phasers on Type 6 shuttle. There ain't. That's not... No. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No. I know, because I've got the damn model. I've got the 3D model of the shuttle from the show. Stuart, what's your number 17? See, it just bugs me. It's just
mine. I hear you. My number 17, like I said, is another editing mistake, so I should have probably let it slide. But it's one that since I've noticed every fucking time I watch this movie. It's from Star Trek 6.
Okay.
McCoy's mouth, he's saying something, but his mouth isn't moving on Rura Penthe when they're cutting between scenes. And he's definitely on about something, Jim. That's the line. And it really bothers me because they had enough footage, I think, even from different angles, that they could have hid McCoy or something. Or, I don't know, you can't zoom in, I guess, but it's because that's the scene right there. He starts saying he's definitely on about something, and then they cut to the next scene, and Jim, and his mouth is moving then. But right there, he's center frame, his lips are not moving. So it just bugs me so much. So again, editors make mistakes. They only have a certain amount of footage. I get it. They have to establish what's going on, but damn.
That is super interesting. That is really interesting. Yeah, because it's like, surely people saw that. And so they made a choice to leave it in.
But I didn't see it right away. I saw it on one of my rewatches, and I'm like, what? I had to rewind and check it out to make sure I wasn't seeing things. And now every time, I'm like, oh, this is seen. Oh, look, there's the mistake. But anyway, yeah. So I didn't see it on the big screen when I saw it, the first time. So I mean, I guess it kind of worked because there's other, the guy's kind of roughing up Kirk a little bit. There's movement going on, but
But obviously the editor, I mean, you can't accidentally have a line of dialogue and accidentally have a visual put together when it's about the dialogue. So that is very strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I have noticed it before, but even now I'm trying to be like, that is a thing, isn't it? But it doesn't quite click to me. No, that's interesting. Yeah.
It's just a major pet peeve for me for that movie because it's a good movie.
You know what? I just ignore these scenes anyway. That's why I don't care as much. It's like,
I know you do. I know you do. But anyway, moving on.
That's good though.
That's not to be talked about very much. So
yeah, I like it. So number 16.
Yes.
This is a two-prong because two universes fucked it up. Both in the JJ verse and the Discovery verse. It takes less than a day to reach Kronos and Kronos to Earth. Because in Star Trek Into Darkness, they head to Kronos or they say, I did read this up, but I'm trying to remember the numbers. I think they said it takes like 40 minutes to get from the edge of Klingon space to Kronos, or Kronos to Earth where they were. Like, it's an absurdly short amount of time when it should be days. And Discovery, they do also say we've got a fleet heading towards Earth, and it's implied it's like very short amount of time. And to get through ocean space would take days, and so they would know for days. So both of them, the distances mean nothing. When Enterprise, they say it's a 4-day trip there and back. Yes, a warp 5, but neither of those universes should be drastically higher and warp drastically. So it should still be at least 2 days. That's Klingon space, not to Kronos. If it was to Kronos, that's silly. But with the distance that they're implying that Marcus says, we can get there and back in a day, it's like, the Klingon war would take 1 day because they just travel to Earth and kill you, or you just travel to their home and kill you.
Yeah.
It's like, if those places are a day away, that means all of the outer rim is like 4 hours away, 3 hours away. It's worthless. And then if you look internally, your own system's like 44 seconds away. It's like it
makes exploring the galaxy kind of like, we could do that in a week.
Yeah, that's true. No, and also. Well, I won't say that, but yeah, it's just they knew that was wrong. And there is that time when Spock is on the turbolift and goes in and out in 1 second. It's also a mistake, but that is very much we want to tell storytelling, fine. But ships in space with thousands of people's lives at stake is a bigger scale to mess up on.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just wrong. It's just wrong, and they know it was wrong. They did it anyway. But both universes, they don't care as much. So.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And it's funny you use that shot because that shot and my number 13 have something in common.
Ooh.
So, just saying. Anyway, so yeah, and that's one of the things that, speculation-wise, the Kelvin universe is much smaller. It's like a little bubble universe. As you can do that, you can get it should take 2.5 weeks at top warp to get to the Klingon border. Then another week or two to maybe get to Kronos at high warp, at least. Maybe not top warp, but still, there's got to be galactic distances involved here. So yeah, that would really bug me with the JJ films. And yeah, Discovery didn't play quite as bad as that though, because there was a war already established, so they already had made progress and they might have had moved up and had fortifications. So they're launching from those forward posts as opposed to Kronos itself. So, but yeah,
we've still got. I mean,
big problem.
You'd still have sensor platforms to detect them days, weeks away. Yeah, it's just a mistake. Because remember, they also get to Vulcan in 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a mistake. There's nothing. They were wrong. It's like. Okay.
The Ronin $2. To be fair, JJ doesn't know how space works.
Yeah.
True.
It's just weird, Because again, they don't appreciate that makes it canon, and canon is now canon. It's not Star Wars where you can say what the hell they want, and it's like,
Yeah. 102 likes, 157 people here. That is awesome, guys. Again, hit that like button. Let's get up to 120. Let's get another 18 likes. Please, it would be awesome. Let's see. Okay, so my number 16. Again, this is episode specific TOS one and an editing error.
Ooh, okay.
Don't worry, they all aren't editing errors that seem really small. Just these are ones that stand out to me. So number 16 is McCoy's uniform in Mudd's Women. Literally changes from reaction shot to full on like it's literally. He looks at the girls in the transporter room. He's wearing one uniform. They focus on the girl for a second, and they cut to him, and he's wearing the smock in a totally different background that they darkened, so you couldn't tell. But it's so blatantly just bad, and so that's got to be up there for me because again, it's one I always notice every time I watch the goddamn episode. A lot of people wouldn't catch it, but
yeah, I've definitely noticed that one. But in a similar vein, like they didn't have time to reshoot it. Clearly, they had to get the episode out.
How many times is he in the goddamn smock? He uses the regular uniform a lot more. You think they'd have more reaction shots from other episodes of the regular uniform, right?
Yes, but they probably had like 6 hours, and they
wasn't conveying the emotion that they wanted.
Yeah, that's it exactly. So this is again, it's a deliberate choice, but in a show that had good budget but limited production time. Whereas I'm going for I'm going for more grand things. So I can. This is a lack of time and era mistake rather than we're deliberately fucking up because we want to fuck up.
That's what I said. A lot of mine are going to be mistakes and not continuity, galaxy shattering.
But it is just a mistake. Like we said, it's just then they knew. But this show didn't think it was building a legacy. So in that same vein, it's like just have to get the show out.
True. That's true.
But they're so good normally. And this is a pretty radical difference because they're, like I say, he doesn't wear that very often. Of all the things, it's a good one. That's very good.
All right, so your number 15, my friend.
My number 15.
Oh, before we get to that, though, sorry, we got some super chats.
Yes.
Jeffrey Jacobs, $2.06, 106 likes. Nice. Let's get to 150. Hashtag make Jeff pay. Yes, guys, we haven't done a hashtag make Jeff pay in a while, so. 163 of you here. Hit that like button. Let's try to get to 150. Fleet Paw Swift Pack is here with $5. Unless something has changed, Kronos is 90 light years from Earth. Also, yay for 100 likes. Let's get to 150.
Yes.
Yeah.
90 light years in a day. It's a fast warp speed, Stuart.
It is, absolutely.
Actually, 90,000 light years for Voyager would mean 90 light years in one day. It would take you 9,000 days, which is how many years?
Well, I don't know.
Not as many.
A lot.
And it obviously wasn't a day, it was like 4 hours. I was over-exaggerating.
Dan23 says, I hate spelling mistakes. Well, then stay tuned, Dan. I'll say.
Yes, that's certainly an issue. My number 15... It's the same picture of the Discovery Klingons, because explicitly in DS9 they say, even we have never, ever,
attacked Earth.
Thought to attack the human homeworld of Earth. Cut to 10 years later, oh, here's ships at Earth, which obviously meant they had to bypass all of the fleets, all of the space stations, all of the pods, all of the defenses. They probably killed multiple ships on the way. They said it in canon, and this is the great Klingon War. They had cloaks where they had all this. This is Martok would learn this shit in school. Yes, you could argue most is dishonorable, whatever, but that's like no. There's too many officers. There's too many things, you know. They knew it was wrong. They didn't need this visual. They could have had it be they could have been a colony. They could have been a space station. They knew it was wrong, or they didn't bother doing research, which is much more likely. But it's such an explicit line in DS9. It's a pure mistake. Discovery again. People say Discovery doesn't break canon. Discovery does break canon often, and this is one of those small things, but didn't have to be there. And it's sad. And this is the last time we can see these ships, pretty much. And they look the best they look, because they had a Klingon symbol again. Shit, they didn't.
Yeah. And also, I can't buy for a second that bloodthirsty Klingon warriors were that close to Earth, and then got called back and were like, oh, yeah, cool, no, it's fine. It's good, guys. We've just had thousands of ships destroyed to get here, fighting through all your defenses, but we're just going to turn around now. Peace out.
And also, if this is the entire fleet, think about these as like the kind of D7s. It's like 2 D7s and 4 birds of prey ain't enough to take on Earth's primary defenses, and you would think they would know the Klingons were en route for like several days at this point, and so they'd have ships waiting. It's like
several minutes. Small universe.
Well, sorry, you're right. Several 4.5 seconds of leeway. It's just done on every single level, and it's just purely wrong. It's just wrong.
Yeah.
It's another mistake. They should have known better. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, that's absolutely valid. This scene was so stupid, that close to Earth, honestly, and they're going to lose the war or not lose the war, but give up. Essentially, it's like, really.
And that size of Earth, isn't that almost like moon distance? Because in scale of, because the Earth does not look very big in the moon's surface. It actually looks bigger than the moon's surface. That's closer. They're closer than the moon.
It does. It does look like that.
So they're between the moon and the Earth, and they haven't been attacked. They haven't been stopped. Even though from Earth to moon is like seconds impulse, high impulse. I know it's a creative choice to do something interesting, but it's wrong on every level, and that's the problem, guys. It's wrong on every level.
Supercube Smart Talk wouldn't have known about this because it's Discovery verse, not Prime. Yes, that's a perfect
hey
answer.
ho. Hey ho.
Hey, don't call me a hoe.
Bitch.
The Roan and $2. Today is a good day to go home. Wave to Earth. Bye, guys.
Well,
They got the big foam hands. Hey, we're coming to attack you. Yeah. Big foam batleths. Anyway. All right. Yeah. No, that's a good one. All right. So my number 15 is kind of interspaced throughout all of TNG.
Ooh.
That's just Data uses contractions quite often. It's very subtle. Sometimes you catch it. Sometimes you don't. I'm always noticing them here and there. And it's the script writer probably didn't think about it when they were writing, and for some reason Brent didn't catch on. But multiple contractions used by Data throughout the course of that series, even though they're usually a dead giveaway that it's not Data, and it actually was a plot point in the one with Lore. I believe not brothers, whatever. Anyway, that he was using contractions. So,
but it does happen. I mean. It's a pretty broad question, but how many times do you think he uses those in the course of the show? I mean, is it under 50, under 20, under 10? Is it literally like so small a thing, or is it more than you think, like hundreds of times?
I think I remember reading at one point it was 26 times. So over the course of 7 seasons, multiple episodes, that's not bad. But I mean, you got your script writers who need to know that he does that, first of all. Then you got like the people that approve the scripts and maybe do some rewrites that might glaze over it. Then you got the actor who's reading the lines, who knows their character. Then you got everybody on set that would also be like Data doesn't use contractions, actors and behind the scenes and directors. So I mean, it's a lot of people to go through to get onto the screen, and I don't know. I can see it being in the script as people are reading it, and just your brain automatically says it's fine because you read it. So I don't know. It's a small thing, but
yeah. And yeah, again, they're just simple mistakes. Should know better, but you can imagine, it's almost but you got to wonder though. I'd love to know actually if they were in the original script, or if the actor slipped up because he was tired because it was the end of a day. And everyone's at the end of the day, and obviously they've already, because it's the end of a day, it's the end of a long week, they haven't got time to do reshoots because the episode has got to be out, so they just leave them in because they haven't got the ability to necessarily redo that. Potentially. Like, I'd love to know if it was a script thing or a Brent thing, because Brent would know that, and I would like to see that. Yeah.
We should get every instance of it and see, it's interesting.
So I wouldn't want to say it was in the script necessarily, because I'm sure in that episode he didn't always use no contractions. I'm sure they used most of the time, and then didn't once or twice if it was in the script. Because if it was every time, you'd be like, "Well, that was the episode where you only spoke in contractions." But
you can you can also see like because they bring in script writers through like 1 or 2 scripts, right? Like here's a good script proposal. If you're not in the mindset of going, Data doesn't use contractions, you're just writing, like feverishly writing, you're gonna just do it the way you'd say it. That could slip by. That's what I'm saying.
Well, it could, but like I say, if it was in every single scene, because contractions are used a lot by people, you can't, find an episode where it happens. And
you cannot. You said can't. Just
Exactly. So it'd be interesting to see if every instance in one episode was a non-contraction, because I doubt that. So I bet it's a bit of everything. But yeah, that's just simple mistakes.
Yeah. David Ford throws in 10 euros.
Thank you.
In generations, how can the energy ribbon travel through our galaxy every 39 years at sunlight speed? I think he means sublight speed.
Wow.
Otherwise, it'd be the speed of light. Would take Voyager twice that at high warp. Just annoys me.
Yeah.
One could expect that the Nexus ribbon is like doing some kind of temporal thing where it like will eventually like just like jump through subspace. I don't know. You can come up with some reason for it.
Well, it's a god space ribbon thing. I'm sure it could change its speed on a whim, based on gravitation and how many things it's eaten that week, etc. But yeah, that's definitely a weird one. Yeah. David
Ford, another €2, so thank you. Meant sublight speed. Oh yes, we got it. Don't worry. Fleet Paw Swiftback, $2. Weren't most of the contractions in seasons 1 and 2? Don't know. That's one thing I have to research, but I would imagine so, probably.
Fun.
Yes.
Fun. Right, my number 14 is, what is it? Ah, yes. The Gen Hay in Star Trek Picard. So, while this is a future starship, it clearly follows the same pattern of other starships, meaning warp drives, impulse engines. Although this shot, I can literally see the lens flare they've added onto the shot in the back of the nacelle. You can literally see the lens flare, the plug-in they've shoved on it. Wow. Because warp nacelles need lens flares, apparently. Thanks, JJ. You can literally see the plug-in at work here. But starships functionally need to have a certain thing. And as of, well, even TMP, RCS thrusters were invented, and they continued as a thing. As of TNG, escape pods were a thing that continued. Phaser strips were a thing that continued. Transporter emitters were a thing that continued. Deflectors were a thing that continued. Diffractive emitters were a thing that continued. All these things were things that continued for every single ship through CG and miniature. Even when they re-kit bashed a ship, they might add them back in. And yet the Gen Hay, as I often say, it lists what it does have. It's a short list of what it doesn't have. Yes, it has warp nacelles. Yes, it has Bassards. Yes, it has impulse engines. Yes, it has windows. It is missing everything. It hasn't even got a deflector. Now, you don't necessarily need a deflector, but you do need phaser strips. You do need torpedo tubes. You do need RCS thrusters. You do need blinking red and green and white lights. You do need all these things, and it's missing all of them. So this ship, while being the most heavily armed ship in Starfleet, has no weapons, has no transporters, has no deflectors, has no escape pods, has no blinkies. This ship is a complete mistake, and they knew that, and they still fucked up either way. I know they had no time, we know the story, but it's a ship that doesn't, it's a mistake, it's a mistake ship, and there's so many of them. But it's the most powerful and advanced ship in Starfleet's ship.
And they have a bazillion of them, with no older ships.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you have other assets that you can use from other shows, which we saw them did in Voyager with one of your other Ps, like using the Type 6, you know? So why not just do that here? Throw in other ships. But yeah, the texturing on this thing is very lacking. But I don't buy the reasoning. I mean, you've talked me into that with, a good modeler can make a really good ship in like 2-3 days with all the details and stuff.
Well, I mean, the point is they only had a week. But as I've said previously, all they had to do was ask Star Trek Online, take their Maya asset or Max assets, convert them to Maya. Now you've got 30, 40 low-res assets. They can take you about 2 hours to convert max. Then you make them the fleet, because they're far away. You build one ship close up with one artist, a second one who's doing the saucer, one's doing the primary hull, and now you've got a fleet of different ships, all of which are full details, and one ship that has more details. It's inexcusable, except lack of time. And it's also a thing that happened, obviously, in other Treks, sure, but the ship can't do anything based on its design. That's a problem, Stuart. Like, you need those things.
Well, Eugene, Eugene, 1,000 rubles. Yes, all the small things that have to be on a ship model. Do a video or live about them.
We will. Yeah, we'll do a comparison. Well, once we get the Eaglemoss version, we can talk about it, because I'll actually have it on our hands.
Matt Borman, $5. What we have here is a severe case of lazy FX. Brian Harvard, $5. Need help for argument. Do impulse engines propel ship through the warp field? Warp engines only create the bubble. I say no. We actually have a script, which we need to film soon, about impulse engines specifically. And they, why would you have a warp field up with your impulse engines being used? So, you are right. Good tea, nice house, $5. We need to Snyder cut that Riker ship scene in Picard, just saying. Yeah.
I'm sure we'll at some point. I mean, it's an obvious thing I have yet to do. But now they've got them in Star Trek Online and stuff, they're easier to, it gets easier every day. Although Chris Gwynn says, it does have a deflector, it's protected by those bars. No, that's the Star Trek Online version. That was retconned back in. Speaking of, Stuart, briefly, let's look at the Star Trek Online version, which the same design but slightly fixed. And I did talk to Tobias Richt as he was redoing it, because they were not embarrassing enough to actually still have the lack of details. Okay, it also has no registries, by the way. Now, the one in Star Trek Online does have phaser strips, does have a deflector, does have a registry, does have transporter emitters, does have escape pods, does have RCS thrusters, does have a shuttle bay, does have tractor beams. It looks much better. It still looks basically the same, but it doesn't.
You know why it has all those things? Because those people care.
Yep.
And because it needs them.
Yep. But look, just even the RCS thrusters look fantastic on it. It looks so much better now. And it still blends in. Like, it's still the same shitty design, but looks better now. So, that's a design better. That's a design that's screwy. And one was a multi-million-dollar TV show, and was a game that they paid them not very much to do. So there you go. Big F up, guys. So for me, that like, even Star Trek Voyager had more details in their models 20 years ago, on less money per episode.
Yeah. Mark Lawrence, $5. Just made it. Had a laptop come in that disappeared several years ago.
What?
Someone restored it, and it auto-enrolled itself back into our system. LOL. I'm so confused by all of that, but
I think he is too.
Thank you, Mark. Good to see you. Michael Anderson, 50 krona, I believe. Copy-paste fleet has no prior canon ship classes. This is just 30 years after Defiant, Intrepid, and Sovereign. Excelsior lasted 80-plus years. Yeah, we know. We're aware. I wish it was a mixed fleet. I really do. But.
And Space Art by Christopher Dole says, most of the previous UCG models would likely need some serious rebuilding to be used in a new show today. If you watch the scene, most ships are in the mid-ground to far distance, so all those assets would work fine for far distance / mid-shot. Obviously, you do a close-up version, that's the Gen Hay. So no, your point, while fine if it was being done properly, not in this scene, if you watch it, it wouldn't need it. I also have to pee. So I want to know by you guys. Throw us some ones that you think are epic, and we'll pick the best one that we like out of your list. Super chats are welcome. I'm back in a minute.
Yes. So, guys, just you and me right now. And I hope you guys don't mind. A lot of mine are little editing things, just little things that annoy me, and just stick in my craw whenever I watch the episode or movie or whatever it is. So, not earth-shattering, galaxy-defining continuity mistakes. I mean, tomorrow's episode with part 2, where we go like the top 10, gets more into that kind of stuff for me. But yeah, I just kind of like having fun with Star Trek and not. And this is a hard list for me to do, by the way. Joseph has to go P2. Good to know. They used the Eagle Moss model. Who did? Star Trek Online? Well, yeah, but they made a better model for Eagle Moss to do their ship on. So, yeah. On Riker's line that this is the most advanced ship, and I have a fleet of them would be weird. I know, but it's not how fleets work. I mean, you can have a new squadron of ships, but anyway, guys, let us know in the chat and either in the regular chat or via super chat what you guys think as far as some good mistakes, universe breaking continuity things. Let us know, because we wanted to look at those when he gets back here. So tuning. I hate the parts where Trekyards is too lazy to fully animate Captain Foley and his models just keep stuck for a few seconds, usually with an awkward look on his face. It is the worst. Well, I'm not the animator for Trekyards, so I can't speak to that, but I'm really sorry about that, Tuning 3434. Yes, so.
Hello.
Hello.
Pressed
Matt
it.
Boardman.
It didn't work. Oh.
Matt Boardman is back with $5. One of my favorites is when Data walks out of the holodeck with a piece of paper in elementary dear Data. That's perfectly acceptable. The holodeck also works like a replicator, so he could do that. Depends what settings you have. Nothing wrong with that, Matt. Zango 76, $5. TNG episode Schisms, Picard's log. He says all Enterprise crew members are safe and accounted for. The very next scene, Riker says Lieutenant Hagler is dead. Jesus.
Oh dear. Oops.
Okay.
That's funny. Fair enough. Yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
you're number 14, I guess?
My number 14 I wasn't sure if I should do because
it's controversial.
It's kind of silly. Well, no, it's not. It's just it's because they deleted some scenes from Star Trek 2009. My number 14 is Nero's laziness. He shows up and 25 years later then decides to do things. We all know why. He went to a Klingon. He got captured by the Klingons. Was at a Klingon, probably Rurapente, for 25 years before him and his crew could escape. Okay, so, but since they cut that out, he was just doing nothing for 25 years, hanging out. And even if they did keep it in, there's still the problem of his ship and the Klingons having possession of his ship, which had Borg technology and, you know, Romulan tech as well, I guess, a little bit, because it was a mining ship.
And also a ship's log of all of the future.
Well, that too. History database. It is a mining ship, so it could be argued that there's not all that necessary information.
But since memory is so small, and they could have a full database of everything because it just fit onto this.
So anyway, yeah. Regardless whether they cut these scenes out or not, either one way, Neo looks incredibly lazy, and you're like, this is 25 years later. What the hell's he been doing? Or if they did keep in these scenes, which are actually pretty good scenes of him being in a Klingon prison and making his escape, it still begs the question, how did he get his ship back? Why didn't the Klingons dismantle the goddamn thing? Because they're Klingons. They would do that. There's a big hole right in the middle of the 2009 story. And it's kind of sad.
And it could have been great storytelling if they'd actually planned out a trilogy, and then because they actually got near a ship for that many years, the Klingons have massively upped their technology, well beyond Starfleet. Yep. Now they are literally the force that is conquering everybody, and so that's why Marcus is really upset in number 2, because they are destroying everything, and so 2 and 3 we've got to deal with them because they're future tech. That's a fine story, you know.
It also explains the upscaling of the Enterprise and the other ships after that point. It doesn't explain the Kelvin, unfortunately, which is also too big with the 26 shuttles you see launch out of it. But
yeah, you'd have to have said there was a Klingon war in between, like 15 years later, where Federation got absolutely butchered. I say to build new
like in
ships that are
Discovery?
bigger. No, 100. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they
Got right to Earth.
Yeah, because otherwise it doesn't make sense anyway. But so yeah, it's like time jumps are really hard. Like if you think what we've done in the last 25 years, that took a long time to live. And this guy that it's just it's a mistake in logic, but also it goes by so quickly that you can tell they don't care. It's that they don't care. And because the movie doesn't care if you watch it a second time, it doesn't care if you care, it's got your money. Like wasn't made to be a film that was never meant to win any awards except for sound and music. It wasn't meant to get any recognition. It wasn't meant to do anything beyond get a box office. It's not a film that's a real film. It's a box office film. It's a watch it on Netflix. It's a binge it and don't care. It's not a real film. It's a spectacle.
Yeah.
It's not a real film.
The Squad, of course, has it right. JJ does not focus on writing a great story. He just jumps from one cool visual to the next. Eugene, 250 rubles.
Thank you.
Well, I didn't mean the copy-paste class specifically, but a general-purpose video. It could be a do's and don'ts guide for fan-made design. That's a great idea, actually. Yeah. And we could cover different eras as well. Could be a few episodes. Yeah. It's a Kelvin film, but it basically has a lot of shit that bugs me. So I mean, that's one of the main ones.
Yeah, and this is one of the least of the annoying things because they go by it so quickly. You know, Kirk being captain, etc. But out the academy and getting captain is just a mistake. You can't argue that. You can't. There isn't a reason. There is not a rationale for that. It's illogical. Yeah, I mean it's full of that. So yeah, I'm glad JJ got a look in on your list. I'm sure it got a list somewhere on my list. I can't remember though. We'll re-find out. Which is the fun of doing it hours ago. Right, yeah. 13, picture 1. Ah, yes. I love that. Going straight from Discovery at JJ to the thing that was made last before that. These are the Voyagers. Stuart, there's 2 Rikers in a shot.
Yep.
Now, in fact, having rewatched it, it's really hard to get a shot of them both in one frame, which is good for them. And obviously then they cut to the rebuild set and it looks quite good, and that's great. But like they must have known that he was in the shot already. Now they probably had nothing else to work with, or given the fact they had hundreds of hours of clips, although as we know, to physically remaster everything is hard, so they probably just skimmed and found the very first clip that would work, because they had to go find that one roll reel, rescan a HD. That was before the HD project, so they had to literally rescan a tape just to get that in upres, and it actually doesn't look as good as I'm sure on the Blu-ray. It's like softer and less details. Probably, like it doesn't look as good as it should do compared to like the boom. But yeah, he's just in it twice. It's just a pure mistake. There's 2 Rikers in a shot. Yeah. That said, though, the integration of him in the scene is actually excellent. Like I couldn't even tell. It's very well stitched together. But there's 2 Rikers, and that's a mistake. So, yeah.
Yeah, Isika's still a 1 Riker, 1 bridge. Worst quote. Yeah. I mean, yeah, but for the shot, I mean, I gotta give him kudos because it does look really good. It's seamless, but yeah, it is kind of a glaring thing, isn't it? There's probably a lot more shots of 10 forward they could have used, but yeah, I mean,
well, it's exactly the same as annoying as like editing and flipping the guy. It's like they had to, and most will notice, but it's just like he's not in 10 forward that much. Let's be fair, he really isn't. Of all the people,
did they have to do the pan? Is what I wonder. Like, show it. Like
they're trying to be impressive because a motion shot is much cooler than a static shot. So they do motion.
I forget how the scene plays out specifically, but I'm sure there would have been another way to shoot it.
Just pan from there to there. Yeah. Well, I like the fact that black guy is from TNG, so they obviously got him back. You know, like 7 years later to play himself again on the show. Like I recognize him, and not from this shot, so I'm sure they got both the extras back.
Good tea, nice house, $5. Samuel, everyone knows that's Thomas Riker. Duh. Yeah, he came back to visit. He got promoted to commander, and you know.
It makes me laugh though that these guys in the game. Actually, Marine looked pretty good actually as Troy. She did a lot better than Riker did. Actually, if you watch it, but they're both, it's weird seeing back in the original colors after how many years of being in the Nemesis ones and generations. It's actually a long time to jump right back into it, and it's amazing how quickly he went from this Riker, this Frakes looking. He looks the same but older, wrinkly, to then now it's old man Frakes.
Yeah,
like those are just as such. Well, he probably dyed his hair for this as well. Let's be honest. He probably did do that.
I think probably, yeah.
And that's obviously her wig from the show, so it's just, But yeah, it just always is funny to me. There's 2 Rikers in a shot. And that's canon.
Yep.
It's just there's 2 Rikers.
Well, there's a whole episode you're not gonna like then.
Okay.
Just saying.
Okay.
All right. So that's your number 13.
Mm-hmm.
My number 13 and 12 you're probably gonna hate, but I really don't care.
Well, what I set up.
So...
But are they gonna hate them? Are they gonna like them?
They're gonna think I'm being me. It's fine.
That's enough of a sell for me.
Number 13 for me is simulation, spelt wrong on Discovery. With simulation ended, and it's spelt blatantly wrong. Really? Spell check, guys. Come on now. How many people did this get through? Visual effects wise, probably one guy working on the shot actually. So probably one guy. But still, it's loud and proud and red on the screen, and it's not how you spell simulation. So, but anyway, yeah, it kind of falls in line with your fleet shot there. So that's why I mentioned that earlier.
And this one's a hard one to really talk about because it's so self-explanatory. It's like, yep.
We don't have to talk much about it. I just wanted to something that you see it and you're like, really? Wow. Okay, moving on. It's only for a second too, but whatever. Just baffles my mind.
Yeah, it's
But it's not the only instance of spelled errors in Trek. So.
It's definitely but and obviously I'm not gonna be bitching about this as much because obviously things get through. Even when I literally go in and I do a spell check pass, things somehow get through. Even though you've literally gone and checked all the spellings, for some reason it doesn't work. And I sent you the thing, and then I sent it to 3 other people, and people found stuff you missed that's blatant, but you missed it. And that's not complaining at you; it's just you missed it. So even though you missed a space, even though you are a grammar Nazi, you missed a wrong spelling. Actually, several. So you missed it. So it does happen, But come on, they should have seen it. What are they paying these people for? But then again, how many thousands of words do not get spelled wrong on screen?
Well, exactly. But some of them are just blatant.
In front of screen as the main thing. It's like you would all see it.
Exactly. So yeah, not much to talk about with that one, but I just wanted to bring it up because it's a nitpicky thing. But yeah. Oh, guys, 117 likes, 180 of you here, guys. We can hit 150 easily. Hit that like button if you haven't already. And by all means, let us know what you guys think as far as errors and stuff goes that annoy you. So.
Yep, we need at least $50 and 30 likes. So I'd love to see what you guys think, and put a chat in because getting close, but not quite there yet, guys. My number 12, we're almost near the 10 here, is. Oh yeah, the Star Trek V non-correct flaws, because in the same way, like it's just a blatant they mistake. It's not like it's painted. There's stickers or little plaques they made. The art department just didn't have any sort of thought process. They weren't thinking. They didn't check. They didn't have any logic. They made these things. They were paid to make wrong things, which then wasn't noticed by Shatner, who is not going to know. I will not blame Shatner at all for this. He would not know. And you should not expect him to know any Dexter on the Enterprise. Don't expect that. The editor, unless he's worked on Trek, he wouldn't know either. But the art department knows. The continuity person on set should know. And then the screening where you show people before the films come out should know. Somebody in that room should know. That's why you have them there. So it went through enough people. And it isn't like it goes by quick. They're blatant. Because they're not what's moving.
A few times.
And a few times.
Because of editing.
Yeah, so it's just, I mean, you shouldn't have made, and it's annoying because it even goes up deck from deck. Like, it does have a consistent moment. Like, it's just wrong. And
But it ends at deck 75. There's only 21 decks in the Enterprise, and they aren't numbered from 1 up. It's A, B, C deck, by the way, not 1, 2, 3. But it's, so there's so many things wrong with the one scene.
There isn't a single thing right about it, let's be honest. And also, Total shafts are too big. Like, they're not even the right size. They're too big. Total's are tiny.
They're not Discovery size, though. And let's be fair, that could be a cargo elevator shaft or something. Hey,
sure, but that's not something we've ever seen.
It's not Discovery's turbo shafts, so.
Yeah. Dystopian guy, not meant to be taken seriously. But once you start saying that, you can apply logic to anything. If you can apply it to anything, then why are you bothering to pay attention at all? And then why you can't complain at anything. Either you have the same standards or you have no standards, you know? If we can complain about Discovery doing something, we can complain about this doing it, because both were blatant mistakes.
And Matt Boardman says, you'd be surprised. I couldn't really go through so many people that have missed it. On Defiance, we got all the way to the broadcast before someone noticed that the Apple box that the actor was standing on wasn't supposed to be in the shot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, but they shouldn't have made the plaques. See, I wouldn't have had a problem. It would have been a much more simple mistake if they had just had plaques 1 to 21 or A to Z, and they were out of order. Like, oh, okay, that's dumb. But to even make plaque 74 is a mistake that is so far down the chain that they would have known, you know?
Yeah.
Very strange.
Well.
But yeah, that's only number 12 in my list. There is 11 more things I valued as being more done than this. But
only 2 more you're going to see today. Well, no, 1 more from
One
him.
more.
2 more from me, yeah. So, my number 12, put up the picture and you tell me what do you think it is. I mean, it says it on the thing, but whatever.
Oh, yeah, they misspelled a plaque in TOS.
Yeah, TOS, environmental, is spelt wrong. And not only that, but then the explanation for it was, maybe language is evolving and it's spelt that way in the future. I don't even know where to start with that. Like, I just hate that so much. But yeah, TOS had a spelling mistake, so it's something that's been there since people are people. People have, make mistakes, so it's fine.
Now,
but I couldn't get a good picture of this thing, and then I'm like, wait a minute, we were on the sets.
Yep.
So I've had to dig this picture out, and it's like, there it is, spelled wrong.
Well, no, I was sending pictures to a guy to rebuild the TOS corridor, and I was like, oh, I need to find a good still from the show. No, wait, I have 4K pictures I took of the corridors, and they're just as good. Actually better. What colour should it be? I'll go to my set pictures. That's easy. Now, the only difference I'll give him here is that this plaque was never meant to be seen in HD. They had no comprehension the show would ever be shown high definition. So it was only ever meant to be seen as this on a box maybe this big. Because TVs didn't even think TVs would get bigger. That's not, so it was never intended. So I'll give him a little credit that was not future-proofing anything. Yeah. But yeah, that's...
David Ford, though. David Ford, €2.
Thank you.
Probably the same guy who spelt sunlight speed. That was you, wasn't it, David? Yes.
I like it.
Good stuff.
Oh, yeah. Richard, Califoli goatee is missing. Another error. That's true. Where's the beard? Wow.
It actually looks different today than it did like last live too, just so you know.
Did you shave? Did you just not have a goatee, or was that just like you just shave it and it was stubbly? What happened there?
I didn't have one at the time. I just had like the stubble, but since then I got fat and I got a double chin, so you grow this to hide the double chin. Like there's logic here.
Because I've completely missed. I mean, I know you've had it for a while, but I just missed you growing at one point. So you just had it, and I just haven't noticed. That's great.
I often trim it right down, and then it grows back, and you don't even really notice. So it's fine.
Well, I see you so often. It's just so it's so gradual.
Yeah.
And you are, to be fair, a little box and then a voice and my like not actually look at your face any of the lives, because that's not the point of the lives.
Yeah, that's not like we're meeting in person and you're like, I haven't seen you in a while.
Smooth as android's chin. Or hairy as an android's chin, yeah. But guys, though, the penultimate to the number 10. But let's do some honorable mentions if you've got any honorable mentions. So I've got a couple didn't make it on my list, which means obviously they are post 20.
I don't. I put 20 on my list, and that's it.
I'll say some honorables then, just to get us to those important Super Chat milestones. We need another 45. So my number 11, the one that didn't quite make it number 10, is... I don't remember. Let's see, what is it? Oh, yes! I was shocked. I shocked myself it wasn't higher. I shocked myself. The Discovery Red Angel suit.
Ah, yes.
Because this, ladies and gentlemen, is a 15-year pre-Cage built and designed suit. Yes, in the Cage, which is fully canon, they had lasers and costumes. But 15 years before that, they built a suit that could harness and hold power from a supernova dying star and could travel in time and space unlimitedly via wormholes.
But for clarity, because I know people are wondering, like Discovery didn't happen 15 years before the Cage, so please explain that.
Yes, so this suit was designed by Michael Burnham's mother when she was like 6. And so even though it was featured in...
No, when Michael Burnham was 6, not when her mother was 6.
Time travel, Stu, it gets confusing. Exactly. So even though, yes. And then the mum then took the suit into the future, and then they built another suit based on a design from 15 years ago. So the suit design, and assuming the mum built and designed it that year, we should not assume that. We should assume it was designed before that. So the mum designed a suit, let's round it up to 18 years before Cage. This ship can go unlimited distance, unlimited space, unlimited time. And have fully hologram displays. And can survive an impact from Earth to the planet without any shielding properly. And can also be built in a day. And can also physically phase off your body, disconstruct, be in this scene, and like physically hover and move away. None of that tech existed even in TOS. None of that tech really exists in TNG. So you cannot explain to me that this thing existed. If this thing existed, Section 31 should win any war because they have this tech. And also has unlimited data storage. Unlimited data storage. Every single thing about it is god level tech. Every single thing is 31st century in tech. This thing does not work. This thing is absolutely a deliberate error. Deliberate non-thing. It does not work. No.
Discover says its own universe.
Of course it is. But it's just like, it's shocking how bad this thing is. And how deliberate. How deliberate, you know.
Why need space? Why even use spaceships? You can just build a suit and explore the galaxy. And not only the galaxy, but anytime you want, literally. So just travel around in a suit. That's all you need.
And even if it was classified for who? It wouldn't be classified within Section 31. The head of Section 31 would have access to the information. So why didn't they build this in DS9? Why didn't Sloane use a time suit? They've had a time suit.
Maybe he did and we never saw it.
Maybe he didn't.
Sneaky little bastard.
And the fact obviously they destroyed it in the first 7 minutes of Season 3 showed they wanted to ignore it. Every season they ignore stuff. Season 1 they ignored the Klingons and redesigned them. Season 2 they ignored the Enterprise sizing, ignored it and moved on. Season 3 they ignored the time suit. It's just embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It does everything.
And Alan Parr, I agree. Disco equals good, okay sci-fi, but bad Trek. Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Okay sci-fi.
Yeah. And like I told you before, the easy way of solving it, and I said this all the way through, Michael Burnham's mum is from the future. She came back from the future, using old tech, built a suit that was very capable, and Michael Burnham is the centre of the universe because she's got future DNA which is more advanced. That's why she can do everything. Boom, solved. And then part of why the suit was never used again is because without knowing how it works, you can't reverse engineer it. Only the mum knew how it worked. So only she could build it in the past. Literally, that is it. And then you completely retconned it. It completely works. It's a bit stupid, but fine. And even if they see you can do a time suit, doesn't mean you can build it, use it, operate it. And the mum also left like a virus inside the system that deletes all the files about the thing when she travels in time. Done. It's so easy. It's so easy to make sense.
Agree. By the way, I do have a honorable mention we can talk about after my next one. So, Squadron Course, $2. Maybe Mira Stewart is clean shaven. Tricky. Squadron Course, $2. She probably built it with Picard's imagination tool. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I totally agree with all that. We've talked about that ad nauseum when we did the reviews of that it's just a ridiculous suit for and tech for the time. But Discoverse, guys, Discoverse, it's fine.
Because they knew they're wrong.
They don't care, though.
No, I don't.
They want to be better than everything that came before. So.
Your number 11, right. Stuart. I hope it's as epic as a time travel suit pre-cage.
It is not.
Ooh, well.
Number 11. Last one for today, because we're going to continue this tomorrow, guys. My number 11 is Michael Burnham pointing a phaser at her head.
So both are Michael Burnham ones. That's good.
It's a quick scene, and people have made the argument that she picked it up and held it the wrong way and turned it around. No, with the way she's got the stance, she's just holding it the wrong way, and I don't know how you can even do that. If you've held a phaser the wrong way, it's uncomfortable. Anyway.
It's impractical.
She's pointing a phaser at her face instead of at the Mirror Universe Lorca, who's can probably kill her in 5 seconds if he,
And this is an easy rotoscope and replace.
Is it?
Yeah. I remember it's quite a motion shot, but it's not that many frames. It's not a very long shot, if I recall. But this is not a hard one. It's far enough away. There's a very clear background behind it. It's a silhouette. Flip it. I mean, you do it. It's easy to fix. Really easy fix.
And it's a really quick scene though. It's a split second on screen. That's hard to get a screen cap for, but yeah.
Because I wonder what the situation was. She pulled it out of the holster and then dropped it and then twisted it and then kept going the scene and no one called her out on it because it's in a holster one way. You can't put guns in holsters two ways. And even if she was handed it, they hand it to her wrong. But they've got a continuity person on set. They've got a camera guy. I don't even know how you possibly even get in the situation, and she should know better. And you don't need to be a Star Trek fan, but you should know better.
They're just giving the fans what they wanted. Is this Michael Burnham vaporizing herself?
It's even because it's even weirder than spelling mistakes. Spelling mistakes you can just they spell it wrong. Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
But
I don't even have my phaser here because it's upstairs. But yeah, holding a phaser backwards is normally it's uncomfortable.
I mean, it kind of looks as if they just only had money to do one take, and they moved on. And in that take, they completely got it wrong, but they said we had to move on. And it's and they ran out of money, so they couldn't redo it. I don't understand.
I can see it being a longer scene, actually, with, if it's right on him. I could see them holding on it longer, but the editor's like, shit. Cut. Let's change it up a little bit, because it's too bad. I don't know.
I don't even know, because there's sparks going to it's a full take. It's not as if it's it could be rehearsal, maybe. You wouldn't do all the sparks in rehearsal.
Maybe they only had the spark thing could happen once because they're destroying some of the sets, so they had to go with what they had. But still.
But how is she keeping straight when the gun's wrong way? I mean, it's just.
There's so many questions. How did this happen?
And it's not as if she didn't shoot the gun quite a lot this season. She's a very gun-toty woman. She's used the gun.
Just your reaction says it all. I wanted to end on a good one for today,
because I'm quite good at. We're both hard at working out why. I don't know how this could have happened. I don't fathom the scenario.
That's the thing. It almost seems deliberate because there's no set of circumstances.
Let me see if I can grab my Teos phaser. How comfortable is that? Because they got the same rough.
It's not. Trust me, I've tried.
I can't hear now. Let me see if I can...
Yeah. Yeah, it's not comfortable at all. It must have been deliberate because there's no way this accidentally could have happened. I don't see how. I don't see how, unless the gun was flipping in the air and she grabbed it. But then she's also got the stance, so that doesn't make sense either. Replace it with a banana.
Isn't it great we both have TOS phases like literally like a minute away? Isn't that great? Just in our lives. That's where we are in our lives.
Yeah.
Pew, pew, pew. Okay, so nice and comfortable, except it grips into your hand. It's not actually that comfortable. We just do it lower, but that's also not comfortable either. It's not very, whatever. I mean,
I love the way I love the way the TOS ones feel, honestly.
Yeah, didn't prove that. Okay, ready. Okay, see now.
Somebody screenshot that. Somebody screen grab that.
It's not uncomfortable, but it feels wrong because you're literally looking at your own gun. I've never seen it like this. This is an odd perspective, I'll be honest. Like, it doesn't feel as uncomfortable. Well, again, it's also not the same hill exactly, but it does actually hold okay. But like, you wouldn't see that. It feels fine, but you would notice the feel difference. It's embarrassing, guys. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Nope. Nope. That's a good one. That's a. Yes. The thing unpulled, and now you're on a different bloody microphone.
Hey, you sound way different.
Yes, I do. Now I don't. There we go.
No, now you sound back to normal.
So how many of these have been Discovery, out of interest, if we can summarize? You count yours, I'll count mine.
How many are Discovery?
Yes. Okay, only 4 of mine were Discovery and 1 was Picard. That's pretty good.
Only 2 of mine, so.
Although 2 are spelling, so.
Well, 1 was spelling, 1 was a phaser to the face.
No, 2 were spelling. 12 and 13.
Yeah, but that's not Discovery.
Oh, I'm just saying 2 of yours were spellings, so your bar was safe in time. Okay, wow. Guys, $40 more. We do need them. What do you guys think on that?
And don't forget, part 1 is over now, but part 2 is tomorrow, where we count down 10 to 1. So we'll have a different list, and we'll be able to talk about more stuff. Yes. And please join us for that, because hopefully you enjoyed today's.
Yes, although Jerry asks he'd like to see a top 10 good things about Discovery. No, yeah, we did one for each season of Discovery. We did top 10 things of the season without any sarcasticness. It was just top 10 of our favorite things.
Yes.
As simple as that. So go check them out. They're fun. It's kind of nice to be just fully positive, because they're quite small things normally, but they are the best things.
Absolutely.
So honorable mentions. Let me just make sure we get the thumbnail back. Okay, right. So I have a few things that did not make it into the main list, for whatever reason, and we can go in turns if you'd like.
Sure. Well, I only have 1 that I can think of right offhand. So.
Sure. Let's see. So one of mine. Where is it? The cinder blocks in the Kelvin. Literally, you can literally see concrete in the JJ USS Kelvin engineering. You can't justify that. It's unjustifiable. There's no rationale. It's a total mistake. Total F up. If you're going to use a brewery, cover that shit in silver paint. Put a box over it. Like, it's just a pure fuck up. It's just
don't use a brewery.
Well, that's even just do a green screen set. I mean, just fuck up. It's just a total mistake. You can't justify it. Yep.
Totally agree. Give you through water dripping at some point, I think. Just stupidity. Mine is actually the pink Klingon blood in Star Trek 6, because we've seen Klingon blood before that. We see it afterwards. It's always red. But the only reason they did it pink was because to get the rating that they got because if it was red blood, it would be a lot of blood everywhere. So they had to make it pink so that it could get the rating it needed to get, which is kind of annoying. And even though this is not Klingon blood, like that's like, okay, yeah, we saw it was pink earlier, but whatever. Anyway, that's just to show that one of the conspirators was a human, Colonel West, that was disguised as a Klingon. So dumb.
That's funny. I like it. Another honorable from me. Now that's almost made the list, but I didn't, because it's so small. I thought it was just more important ones. The Discovery in season 3 not being detected by Earth while at Jupiter. It's in the mega future, and they have no scanning devices that will go even to the edge of the solar system, because they don't know they're there until they get to Earth. They're like, "You're in Earth orbit. Who are you?" It's a surprise. So they don't know in Jupiter. Because remember, they say we'll jump out of their scanning range, which is also absurd of them to think. Because are they implying that in their era, the limit is Jupiter? Even though they, as we know, they can also scan ships in other quadrants and other parts of the galaxy and other systems. They can scan multiple sectors away. Who wrote that garbage? Like, it's fine to say if we jump into Jupiter's moon, we won't be detected by the scans, the radiation. Done. Boom. There you go. Then you can't scan yourself, which makes it kind of pointless. But it's just wrong. It's just a mistake. There's no they knew they were doing a bullshit thing. They did it anyway for a beautiful visual, but it's wrong. It's absurd.
Sergeant Montgomery says they were cloaked.
Who was cloaked?
I don't know who he's talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm considering ultra far future. You'd have relay stations. You'd have different listening posts. You'd have shit and scattered throughout your solar system. You would think, which you could bounce relays off of, and even if your detecting range isn't that far, you can still communicate with something that does have a range that far. So,
especially if they're worried about pirates, they've been attacking Earth regularly. You'd think you'd want more than Jupiter, because it takes like a minute to get from Jupiter to Earth. And so if you can't detect anything a minute away from your main planet, on which you're trying to defend from pirates, you don't care about pirates, do you? Like, and they do have full warp drive. They just don't have much dilithium. So but we know they have some, so they can actively, easily go out of the solar system to do buoys, to do whatever. There's no reason. No reason. It's just a lazy mistake that they knew was wrong.
Yep. Spelling's more important than that, though. I wish I could have come with a more impactful list.
You should have done 20 spelling mistakes.
I can do that.
That'd be fun. Top 20 spelling mistakes of Star Trek.
Top 10. 20 was pushing it for this, I think.
Well, I got like 33, so.
Oh my god, man. Cool. Matt Boardman, $2, sending out the first snipe. Thank you, Matt.
Ooh.
I already get the snipers in for the last super chat slot, so thank you. And 132 likes, guys. Can we get another 18 likes to get to 150? That'd be awesome. We have 151 people here. I know you haven't all hit like, so hit that like button.
So I've got some more, because obviously I have a couple.
Sure. Go.
Khan knowing Chekhov.
No problem with that one.
But it is, and they know it's a mistake in the context of everything on screen. Now, yes, they joke it off later as a gag, but the writer didn't realize he wasn't on the show yet. Is that as it? It's that simple. They just made a mistake.
And not that they didn't know. They just that was the character that, unfortunately, because of the setup, had to be on the planet. So.
Although why couldn't it have been Sulu?
Because, well, it could have been interesting.
Could have been a
training mission for his captaincy. That would have been all right.
Yeah. So no, it didn't have to be Chekhov at all.
Well, I guess.
Like, it was great that it was, but it's just like they did a thing that they knew didn't make sense. They did it anyway because he also recognizes him. It's not just that. It's just and there's no reason to say he wasn't necessarily on the ship, but like part of the story is he came. That was the first year he was there. After Spacey. So it's not the biggest problem. They just knew it wasn't a correct move going in, or they just made a mistake, and they could have easily retconned it in one line of dialogue.
Yeah, they absolutely could have.
Who are you? I recognize that uniform. They could have done something more clever, but whatever.
Fair enough.
Another one I have, which again, it's for a joke, hence why, but they explicitly say in two parts of dialogue, several years apart, Data sinks.
Yes. But
he's also designed to be a flotation device. Those, Stuart, are mutually exclusive. And explicitly says I was designed, not I gave myself flotation, I was designed to be a flotation device. So Data is both shitty and a liar.
That's comedy for the win.
It is.
Got to put in a comedy line. So let's use the android.
Now, I do not blame them for not wanting to go back and rewatch Descent. to check the dialogue. I will not blame them there. I don't think you can blame them either. But it's just a mistake, and they didn't bother going back and reading the data lore. I mean, the lore of data. It's just a mistake, you know?
Yeah, that's fair. Good tea, nice house, $2. B'Elanna's cranial ridges change in Voyager. She's growing up. It's fine.
Ozzy says Sulu wasn't in Space Age, but he was on the ship though.
Yeah,
he was on the ship. Just they don't leave the ship between episodes. They're just not in the episode.
Yeah, they're just off duty.
Another funny one I always find silly. For the Ferengi, gold is both worthless and valuable, explicitly.
Okay, this one, yeah.
Always makes me laugh.
Thing is, gold can be replicated with a replicator, so anybody can make as much gold as they want. The reason that platinum can't, it's too complex of material, and the gold pressing is just it's like a container. So I mean, yeah, I get you, but when was it specifically said that gold was worth a lot?
Later. It's after gold pressed platinum. It's kind of strange. They double down on gold is valuable after pressed platinum because it's still a separate valuable metal. It's less valuable, but it's still valuable.
Yeah.
What they say is worthless even earlier. But if you remember, like, because in TNG, the guy just remembers, they tries to buy the Barzine wormhole with gold, which makes it valuable. But then it's worthless to Quark, if that's worth. So it's both. I mean, just obviously it's worthless. You could argue to different culture, like it's worthless to a Ferengi, therefore we can use it against or for the lady, possibly. But the context of how they're both playing it, it's still like it's just weird to have them side by side. It's worthless and also very valuable. But I still love gold pressed latinum. That's still a great concept.
Yeah, and I think that may be what they tried to do with the gold pressed latinum because they saw the Ferengi use gold before. Yeah, it was actually gold pressed latinum. They just didn't say that or something, you know.
But it's still an active. They just made it oopsie because they were like the Trill. They were designing it as they went rather than a deliberate. They wanted to retcon to the future.
Yes, absolutely.
I've got a couple more. So, but super chats, guys. I need another. Well, I'll go 35. Put in your favorites. I guess that's for next week.
35 in super chats and another 11 in likes would be awesome. So
this is another one where it's again a wrong choice. The Excelsior. You know the Excelsior, the ship?
I do.
Yeah. Well, we see it in Star Trek 6, don't we?
We do.
And Star Trek 3, actually.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
And in Star Trek 6, we see it a few times. It's not one shot, right? A few times. We see the bridge. We see a corridor. Well, we see the outside corridor. We see a room. We see it fly. It's great. And then somehow, 10 years later, we see it again in TV. And it's set during the episode that we see it in the movie. And now it's warp grills glow, despite not glowing in the movie. And so they knew they don't glow, because I'm sure they watched the movie because they say explicitly in it, we watched the movie. And yet they didn't watch the movie's space effects to know we have to match the space effects because they're just wrong. They don't glow. And even in TNG they don't glow. So they never glow because they've been refitted that way.
Did they glow in DS9 in any of the battles?
Yes, they do.
They do. Ships?
By that point they do. Absolutely fine.
That's why.
Yes, but they watched the movie. They know they don't glow. And that was not CG, which I learned a while ago. That was all miniature stuff. So they had to build a new Excelsior, a smaller one, and do lighting work. Which is surprising. I still don't buy that personally, but I've read interviews. It's like, yeah. But it's like, it's just a mistake. Like, they know. They looked. And they can't argue it's a future version. It's not. It's the same. It's the same ship. Do you know what I mean? I just don't know why they would do that. It looks cool, but it's wrong. It's just full.
It's Tuvok's memories. He remembers it differently.
He remembers the outside of the ship in a nebula somehow.
Yep.
Even though he knows it differently because he lived on those ships for years, so he knows exactly.
But he didn't pay attention because he didn't want to be in Starfleet at the time. So.
But do you know what I mean? It's like such an obvious mistake. It's like it's just they have footage of the film. It's the first scene of the film. You see the Excelsior.
But
don't know.
Samuel,
glow. Yeah, hello.
The fans are stupid. The Voyager's nacelles glow, so we have to make these nacelles glow. So otherwise, people won't understand.
Hey, at least it wasn't a vulture. Wouldn't that have been great if just come to the Voyager like, oh my god, he's on a fucking Voyager! 80 years early! Oh god!
They definitely could have cocked that up a lot more than they did.
Why are they on Negvar? God damn it! That would have been great. That would have been great.
Matt Boardman, $10. Quick, someone grab the DS9 digital model of the Excelsior.
Oh, see, it was too early. Oh, and it confuses me. I'll look again, but I was surprised by that.
The Ronin, $5. To be fair, the Ferengi tried buying a worthless wormhole with worthless gold. It's exactly what yeah. It's fine. They didn't know it was worthless at the time, though.
Exactly, yeah. They thought they were buying an expensive one.
But if they can use something that is valuable to the people they're selling it to, and it means nothing to them, that's bonus for them.
But that isn't the only time, though. Just to be clear, they do also use gold a couple of times. It's not an as just an example of the way he plays. Like, look, all this gold.
Yeah, well.
It just makes me sad on the inside.
And then Lysterica says Tuvok was on the Enterprise B, though. I mean, he was. As not Tuvok. That could have easily made that Tuvok. That would have been awesome.
It would have been. It would have been.
But
and it's funny, 2 Excelsiors he didn't serve one. Yeah. Weird. Yeah.
Well.
It's just a bit weird. How many away? How many are we away? Oh,
8 more likes. 8 more likes away.
And 23.
Well, 14. $14.
Oh, this is a true but also annoying comment. Keep me up, podcast. The entire Excelsior bridge was wrong. A very poor recreation of the sets destroyed only 2 years earlier, as opposed to DS9 perfectly recreating sets destroyed 27 years earlier. So I think they did a very good job rebuilding the Excelsior. You can't tell it's different until you actually really look at the differences. Like I think it's very close until you look.
Yeah.
Like they didn't spare many expenses except like the Camp's chair and a few things. Like they did a very good job. But do you know how expensive a new bridge set is compared to the TOS sets, which are wooden flats with some greeblies? That is a movie set. Wall-to-wall displays, all of which have to be new monitors. And everything's custom. That bridge is more expensive than all the Trials and Tribulation sets. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
So you say that, but it's not the same. Plus they had to get plus they had to hire all the same extras. Yeah. I'm sure those extras that had to be whatever they cost, like whatever they were charging them to bring. George Takei is more expensive. Who do they get for the DS9 version? The guy Aaron Darvin. I don't think he costs as much as George Takei.
No.
So him as well, much.
But they needed Janice Rand as well.
Janice Rand. They got the original Voyager Klingon guy again in full makeup.
They got Beltane back, who's been in. He was in like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. That's one of the SWAT guys. Like he had a career.
Yeah.
The Helms guy is the same. Yeah, you got to find these people, negotiate their contracts to get them back. With their that's a lot of work actually.
Yeah, I mean,
plus it's in their contract that we can pull you back whenever we want. Every time you think you're out, we're gonna pull you back in
and kill you and then unkill you and kill you and unkill you. But seriously, like just George Takei in that set is more expensive than every new set for Trials and Tribulations. Those are cheap sets in comparison. Now I just wish it was better overall, but they're good in their own ways. I mean they didn't get Kirk. I mean they did get Kirk, but they didn't get Kirk. They got stock footage Kirk for Trials and Tribulations. They got real George Takei, and he looked great. He did not look any different. And in fact, like I say, if you watch those scenes back to back, it is remarkable how different they actually are, even though they feel about the same. It's very impressive, actually, how different they're the same. So, yeah.
Yeah. Matt Boardman, $2, taking back the snipe. What? Well, he's still a super chat slot, though.
Oh, we're only 18 away, guys. 18 away. I have another one, though. I'd like to hear your response to this. Another little, what?
Only 12 away, but that's okay.
Oh. Wesley Crusher. He goes off to become an intergalactic being of travel.
Yeah.
And then
he's back in Nemesis.
Just a guy who's going to go on the Titan, and he doesn't play anything special. Now, what do you think of that? Because that, to me, feels like they just forgot he was in the other thing and just ignored that. Because they knew, and they didn't try and explain it. So what do you think? That just feels like a blatant error to me.
Well, there is a line of dialogue there that he's back in Starfleet or something. or at the academy. I forget, but there is a deleted line. I think it's lazy. Don't have him come back. He became something special, transcended humanness to go with the Traveler. Like, I don't know, but it's also a character that people liked. I don't know. I have no problem with it as long as it's explained. Like, he's back with, like, he has knowledge that'll definitely help out the Titan.
Oh,
I'm sure that's in the books. I'm sure that's in the books.
I'm sure he does.
So
he has universe and time-spanning knowledge. He should get his promotions quite quickly based on that, shouldn't he? Warp cores. I don't need no stinking warp core. Yeah.
Matt Boardman, $12. I like to see goals being met. Thank you, Matt. Okay, 5 more likes, guys. Can we do that? And Matt also has the last super chat slot, so thank you so much, Matt. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
My math, but that's okay.
But I had fun. This was a good list. Yeah, I'm both not surprised, but also happily surprised by your list. As in, we have different things. I like it.
Oh, and we still got the top half of our list tomorrow.
No,
so.
These are the second most epic.
So be sure to tune in tomorrow, guys.
Yes.
At the same time, same channel, for the next part. Which let me just look at my list real quick.
Yes.
Okay, these are more universe-breaking ones.
Oh.
Ish.
And
one or two that are kind of nitpicky, like the first list, so that's okay.
And I'm not even going to look at my list. I'm going to be completely fresh and totally forget what I have for tomorrow. So it'll be like, oh my god, my number 9, what was I thinking?
3 more likes, guys. 3 more likes to get to 150. And any of the last super chats would be awesome. Like I said, Matt has the last super chat slot. If anybody's interested, feel free to snipe it. But yeah.
No, it's good. It's good. Tune in that day. And then obviously a ship on Saturday, as always. I'm sure we'll do a TNG review next week of some sort. I'm sure.
Yes.
Also debating, Stuart, if you would be interested in doing a drunk live at the start of May. Because that's a weekend, 1st and 2nd.
Possibly.
We know that you guys like to ruin our bladders and livers.
Well, honestly, the end of May 28th, is my birthday, so we could do one then for sure.
It's a Wednesday. Well, no. Birthdays are always for family and friends. So that makes sense if we just say that's your day, and then, it's Stuart's birthday on May the 1st. Drinking live. There you go.
Maybe. We'll talk about that.
Everyone can buy Stuart presents of booze via super chats to make him drink. So he buys the booze, and then that's your present to him. And then my birthday, actually, I think my birthday's on a Monday. June, 7th of June, yeah. So I guess I end up doing my birthday live on like the 5th or the 12th. Make that a drunk one as well. So it depends if I ruin my weekend by getting drunk with you guys, or ruin my post-birthday weekend by getting drunk with you guys.
Do it after your birthday.
Then I have birthday stories.
Yeah. And one more like to 150, guys. One more like. Let's hit it.
Excellent.
One person out there hasn't hit like. Come on now.
And also, I do like Wesley's lead scene in Nemesis where he chases the girl. I think that's a cute little moment.
I must have missed that one.
Yeah, it was when I found those like extra 10 lead scenes. I was like, oh my god, these are epic. Like the Beverly Crusher. Almost all the lead scenes in Nemesis should have been in this movie. They all made it better.
Mm-hmm.
Like less focused on the drama and then action, like more character stuff, and that's what we were there for. At the end of the day.
We had 150 likes.
Yes.
And then went down to 149. Now we're back to 150.
Oh.
Sergeant Montgomery throws in $2 and says a silent snipe.
Ooh. And oh my god, it's so annoying because we're like $4.21 away. It's not a lot.
Okay, we have different numbers in front of us then. Just saying.
It's like so close. It's annoyingly close.
$5. Jesus.
True. I'll tease
no,
on
152 likes now, guys. Thank you. If you haven't hit like, even if you're watching this after fact, hit the like button because it does help. It's a very great way to help us out. Release the extended cut. Yes, the extended Nemesis cut.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It would be fun.
And Ryan K says 2 days after mine. So your birthday's May 26th? Is that what you're saying? Sweet.
I'll tease what I'm doing off this. I'm going back to a script I'm writing. The one with the TOS thingy. It shouldn't be a leap for you to know what that is.
Yeah.
And I've managed to I actually started writing it after the other page I sent you. And I was filled with inspiration. I wrote 16 pages in one night. Which is really a lot. And I'm on the third act. And I worked out how they're going to destroy the thingy. And you're going to love it. It's a sort of playoff insurrection, but also not really. It's a combination of the TOS plus insurrection. And it's hard. I've got to do all the effects. But also that's going to be cool to make. So I'm kind of like, yeah, I'll give myself that task. I will take that annoying task.
And Eugene for the win with 168.19 rules. It says pew pew. So he's got the last super chat slot and kind of saved the day. So thank you so much. Yes. That's it, guys. 155 likes. You guys are awesome. We'll see you tomorrow for part two of the nitpickiness of Trekyards.
Tune in tomorrow for the epic conclusion of...
I don't know. Top 20 mistakes, visual and continuity in Star Trek.
Hosted by me, Commander Cockings, and...
Captain Foley. What? You're throwing me off, man.
On the YouTube channel.
Trekyards.
At what time?
5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 p.m. UK.
Be there or...
Be square.
See you then.
It's really awful.